Welcome to The Explainer. In an age of deepfakes and foreign interference, how do we actually protect our democracy? Well, today, we're diving deep into the Strong and Free Elections Act, a major update designed to shield Canadian elections from a whole new generation of threats. So, to really get why this new act is such a big deal, we first have to appreciate the system it's meant to protect. You see, Canada's entire federal election process is governed by one single massive piece of legislation. And when I say massive, I mean it. This thing, the Canada Elections Act, has over 500 sections. It covers literally everything, from who can vote and how, all the way to political financing and advertising. It's kind of like the complex engine that keeps our democracy running. But, as technology and global pressures have changed, a pretty critical question popped up. Was that engine still secure? So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at that original rulebook. Then we'll explore the scary new threats facing our democracy. After that, we'll break down the government's response with this new act, dive into the key changes and the tougher fines, and finally, we'll talk about why all of this really matters to you. Right. So, as we said, that Canada Elections Act is the foundation. It's the comprehensive legislation that governs every single part of our federal elections, making sure they're fair, transparent, and consistent right across the country. Okay, now this is where things get really interesting. A whole new set of challenges has come along, and well, it's put that old rulebook to the test, pushing it right to its limits. Let's look at three of the biggest ones. First up, the rise of deepfakes. We're talking about incredibly realistic but completely fake videos or images. Just imagine a fake video of a candidate saying something truly awful, something they never actually said, and it gets released just days before an election. The potential for chaos is just enormous. Then you've got the wider problem of disinformation. And look, this isn't just someone's bad opinion. This is the deliberate spread of lies. Things like false info about where or when to vote, all of it designed to confuse people and, frankly, to erode trust in the entire process. And finally, there's the one we hear so much about, the threat of foreign influence. This is when outside groups use money or other tricks to illegally interfere in our elections, trying to shape the outcome to serve their interests, not the interests of Canadians. So all of this brings us to the one central question that really kicked off this whole legislative update. With threats like deepfakes and coordinated disinformation campaigns, it became crystal clear that the old rules just weren't going to cut it anymore. They needed a serious upgrade. And the government's answer to that question was this, the Strong and Free Elections Act. You can think of it as a brand new shield designed specifically to guard against these modern threats to our democracy. Now, it's really important to understand this isn't a complete rewrite of that whole 500-section rulebook. It's more like a strategic upgrade to our democracy's security system. It's patching vulnerabilities and adding new, stronger defenses exactly where they're needed most. The act has a really clear set of goals. It's designed to ban those deepfakes, close foreign funding loopholes, add new privacy rules for political parties, and seriously boost enforcement powers, among a few other things. You can see how each goal is a direct response to a specific, identified threat. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty and see exactly how this thing builds a stronger defense for our elections, piece by piece. This table just lays it out so perfectly, the problem and the solution. For deepfakes, the law now explicitly bans using them for impersonation. But, and this is a key detail, it also carves out an exemption for parody and satire. So that shows this delicate balance between protecting elections and not crushing free expression. For disinformation, it's now flat out illegal to knowingly spread lies to disrupt the vote. The act also targets hacking and, so importantly, extends all these rules to cover illegal stuff that happens outside of Canada. This next part is a big one for your personal data. The act brings in major new privacy rules for political parties. From now on, they have to implement proper safeguards for your personal info, make sure any companies they work with do the same, and they have to tell you if there's a major data breach. Oh, and they're also explicitly forbidden from selling your information. Now, when it comes to foreign interference, this is a subtle but really powerful shift. Before, the law banned the use of foreign funds by third parties. The new rule bans foreign groups from even donating that money in the first place. It's about shutting the door before the money can even get into the room. It's a much smarter approach. Of course, new rules are only as good as their enforcement, right? A rulebook needs to have teeth. So the Act recognizes this by giving investigators more power and making the penalties for breaking the law a whole lot steeper. Get this, previously, the maximum administrative fine for an organization that broke the rules was just $5,000. For some groups, that's just the cost of doing business. Not much of a deterrent, is it? Well, that has changed a lot. The new maximum fine for an organization is now $100,000. That's a 20-fold increase, designed to be a far more effective deterrent. And it's not just about the money. The Commissioner of Canada Elections now has a much more powerful toolkit. They can now summon people to testify and demand documents without getting a judge's permission first. That's huge because it helps speed up investigations, especially in these fast-moving digital cases. They can also share information more easily with other agencies, both here and around the world, which is absolutely key to tackling cross-border interference. Okay, so after all those details about rules and penalties and commissioners, what does this actually mean for you, the average Canadian voter? Why should you care? To put it simply, this is all about protecting the integrity of your vote. It's about making sure that when you go to the polls, your decision is yours and yours alone, that it's based on real facts and fair debate, not on some deep fake or a bunch of lies or a pile of foreign money. And really, it all comes back to this core mission stated by the government. The world is changing, the threats are evolving, and so our democratic defenses have to evolve right along with them. This act is the latest and most important step in that ongoing process. And that leaves us with one final thought. These new rules are a necessary shield for the challenges we face today. But as artificial intelligence and other technologies keep accelerating, it really makes you wonder, what new threat is just over the horizon, and how we have to adapt next time to keep our elections truly strong and free?